The twin suns were sinking behind the jagged mountains of Kalara, casting long shadows over the rocky landscape. Dust swirled in the evening breeze, carrying the faint scent of minerals and alien flora. Lyra stood at the edge of a cliff, her elongated fingers brushing the air as she watched the horizon. Even now, years after she had been saved, the memory of that day remained as vivid as if it had happened yesterday. She was only a child then, barely 7 cycles old, and her world had been torn apart in an instant. The invaders came without warning, their ships darkening the skies, their weapons scorching the land. Her people had scattered, trying to survive, but she had been caught in the chaos. She remembered the fear, the cold terror that had gripped her heart, and then the sudden relief of a hand pulling her to safety. That hand had belonged to a human soldier named Ethan Drake. He had carried her through smoke and fire, ignoring his own safety. She had clung to him, trembling, barely able to speak. And then, just as suddenly as he had appeared, he was gone. She never knew what became of him after that day. Her parents had survived in hiding, and she had grown up learning to fight, to think strategically, to navigate the fractured world left in the wake of the attack. Yet even as she became stronger, she never forgot the human who had saved her. Now, standing on the cliff, Lyra felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. She had been tracking a human expedition across the sector, one that had ties to the planetary defense councils and the military. Rumors had reached her that Ethan Drake was part of this mission. Her heart had raced when she first heard it. Could it really be him? After so many years alive and still serving, the landing bay below hummed with activity. Ships of various designs and colors glinted in the sunlight as they prepared for departure. Humans moved with efficiency, their uniforms crisp and their movements precise. Lyra approached the shuttle she had secured access to, her sleek frame moving silently among the crowd. Her long, iridescent hair caught the light, shimmering like liquid metal, and she hoped it would not draw too much attention. She had learned the hard way to be cautious, even when hope guided her steps. She stepped aboard and found herself in a narrow corridor lined with storage compartments and equipment. The hum of the engines vibrated through the floor, a constant reminder that they were about to leave the surface of Kalara. She closed her eyes for a moment, steadying her breathing. She had trained herself to be calm, to focus on her mission, but the thought of seeing Ethan again made her pulse quicken. The mission briefing room was crowded, filled with humans and a few other alien representatives. Lyra slipped into a corner, observing the room. Ethan was there, her breath caught in her throat. He was older than she remembered, his face marked by the passage of years and countless battles, but there was no mistaking him. His dark hair was cropped short, and his eyes, sharp and alert, scanned the room with the practiced awareness of a soldier who had seen too much. He moved with a confidence that humans often carried, a quiet strength that seemed to radiate from him. As the briefing began, Lyra listened carefully. The mission was critical. A rogue AI fleet had been detected near the edge of human and alien-controlled space. It had destroyed several outposts, and if left unchecked, it could threaten entire planets. The Council had assembled a team of humans and aliens to infiltrate the fleet's central command and neutralize it. Lyra's people had intelligence about the AI's weaknesses, and her role was to provide guidance and tactical support. Ethan spoke during the briefing, his voice calm and commanding. He outlined the plan with precision, detailing the risks and contingencies. Lyra found herself drawn to his presence, to the way he balanced authority with empathy. She could see the same courage that had saved her all those years ago, tempered now by experience and wisdom. When the briefing ended, the team dispersed to their respective ships. Lyra hesitated, unsure whether to approach him directly. Her heart ached with anticipation, but she reminded herself that the mission came first. She would have a chance to speak with him once they were underway. The shuttle lifted off, leaving Kalara behind. The twin suns dipped below the horizon, and the stars began to emerge, sparkling against the darkening sky. Lyra found a quiet corner and activated a hollow screen, reviewing maps and schematics of the AI fleet's suspected location. She had studied them thoroughly, memorizing every detail, every potential weak point. Her mind worked quickly, analyzing, predicting, calculating. Hours passed as the shuttle moved through space. Lyra observed her fellow passengers, noting their interactions and behavior. Humans were disciplined, but she saw flashes of humor, curiosity, and kindness. She had always admired their resilience, their ability to find hope even in the bleakest circumstances. She thought of Ethan and how he had embodied all of these qualities when she was a child. A sudden alert interrupted her thoughts. The shuttle's sensors had picked up an unknown vessel approaching rapidly. The crew reacted immediately, taking defensive positions. Lyra's pulse quickened. The vessel was not hostile. It was a small scout ship, likely sent to relay information back to the AI fleet. But the encounter served as a reminder that danger was never far away. Ethan moved through the cabin, checking on the crew and passengers. His eyes briefly met Lyra's. For a moment, there was no recognition, only a professional acknowledgement of her presence. Lyra felt a pang of disappointment, but she understood. He had no way of knowing who she was yet, and she could not reveal herself prematurely. The shuttle entered a wormhole, the stars stretching into streaks of light as space itself seemed to bend. Lyra closed her eyes, focusing on her breathing, reminding herself that patience was as much a weapon as any gun or shield. She had waited years for this moment, and she would not rush it. When they emerged on the other side, the AI fleet's territory loomed ahead. Dark, metallic shapes moved with mechanical precision, scanning the void for intruders. Lyra felt a chill run through her spine. This was the test, the first real challenge of their mission. Ethan gathered the team for a final briefing before the infiltration. He spoke calmly, outlining the risks and emphasizing teamwork. Lyra noted how he inspired confidence, how his presence seemed to steady even the most anxious crew members. She admired the way humans could lead not just through orders, but through presence and example. As they approached the AI fleet, the tension in the shuttle was palpable. Lyra studied the schematics one last time, tracing the paths they would take and the points of vulnerability they would exploit. She felt a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. The mission was dangerous, but it was the first step toward seeing Ethan again, the first step toward reconnecting with the man who had once saved her life. The shuttle dropped out of hyperspace, entering the outskirts of the fleet. Lyra's eyes widened at the sight. The AI ships moved with eerie synchronization, their surfaces gleaming like black ice. Lyra felt a surge of determination. She had trained for this moment her entire life. She would not fail, not now, not when so much was at stake. Ethan's voice cut through the comms, calm and steady. All units maintain formation, stay alert, remember your training. Lyra's heart raced as she prepared to move. This was the moment when the past and present converged. She would navigate the dangers of the AI fleet, contribute everything she had learned, and perhaps, finally, reveal herself to the human who had changed her life. As the shuttle edged closer to the first AI patrol, Lyra took a deep breath. She could see Ethan's focused expression, his jaw set, his eyes scanning the void. She felt a connection across the years, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had never truly faded. The first encounter was sudden and intense. AI drones emerged from the shadows, sleek and deadly, moving faster than the eye could follow. Lyra coordinated with the human crew, providing tactical input, guiding their movements and predicting the drones' attacks. Ethan's skill complemented hers perfectly, and together they managed to navigate the initial assault without casualties. After the skirmish, Lyra found a brief moment to glance at Ethan. He still did not recognize her, but she saw something familiar in his eyes, a trust in those around him, a readiness to protect. She knew that when he did see her, he would understand the depth of their connection. The shuttle moved deeper into the fleet's territory, each moment more dangerous than the last. Lyra's mind raced with strategy, with memories of the past, and with anticipation of what was to come. She knew that the mission would test their limits, challenge their skills, and force them to confront fears long buried. And through it all, one thought remained constant in her mind. The human who had saved her once, who had shown her the meaning of courage and compassion, was somewhere nearby. She would find him, and when she did, the reunion would be more than a meeting. It would be a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, a proof that even across the vastness of space and the passage of years, bonds formed through bravery and trust could never be broken. Shuttle drifted deeper into the dark heart of the AI fleet. Outside the viewport, the mechanical horde stretched endlessly, ships moving in tight formations like a living organism. Lyra's skin tingled with anticipation. Every detail of the fleet was visible, from the glint of reflective plating to the pulsating energy cores that powered each drone. She studied them carefully, noting patterns and weak points, every flicker of movement that might indicate a vulnerability. Ethan moved beside her, speaking in calm, precise tones to the human soldiers. His presence radiated authority, yet there was no harshness in his words. Lyra observed the way the crew responded to him. They trusted him implicitly, as if his confidence could shield them from the unseen dangers surrounding them. She felt that same warmth in her chest that she had felt years ago when he had rescued her, though now it was mixed with a rush of nerves and excitement. The first real challenge came suddenly. A massive drone carrier detached from the fleet, moving toward their position with silent menace. Its hull was armored, its energy shields flickering faintly in the dim light. Lyra's mind raced. She calculated angles, movement trajectories, and possible escape routes. She relayed her observations to the shuttle pilot, whose hands flew across the control panels. "Evasive maneuvers," Ethan commanded, his voice steady as he took control of the situation. "Focus fire on the weak points Lyra identified. Everyone stay sharp." The shuttle rocked violently as the drone carrier fired, energy blasts slamming against its hull. Sparks rained across the cockpit and the team tensed, but Lyra remained focused. She guided them through a careful dance, weaving between attacks, predicting the carrier's movements. Each time they dodged, a spark of hope and exhilaration surged through her. The humans around her trusted her instincts, following her directions without hesitation. The battle was intense but brief. By coordinating her alien tactical knowledge with Ethan's experience, they exploited the carrier's shields and delivered a precise strike that disabled its propulsion system. The massive ship lurched, energy flickering as it spiraled helplessly into the void. Lyra felt a thrill of accomplishment, but she knew this was only the beginning. Once the immediate danger passed, the shuttle entered a calmer section of the fleet, though the tension remained thick. Lyra and Ethan finally had a moment to speak, though Ethan still did not recognize her. "Good work," Ethan said, glancing at her. His dark eyes were steady and assessing, but he offered a brief, approving nod. "You've got a sharp mind. You've saved us more than once already today." Lyra swallowed, the words she had rehearsed for years sticking in her throat. I'm glad I could help," she said, keeping her voice calm. "There's more ahead. We need to stay focused." Ethan nodded, agreed. Every second counts. He didn't notice the lingering way she watched him, the memories of the child he had saved pressing against the walls she had built around herself. For now, her secret remained hers alone. The shuttle approached the AI fleet's central hub, a massive structure that glowed with eerie blue energy. It pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat, and Lyra felt a shiver run down her spine. This was the source of the fleet's power, the node that controlled every drone and every automated ship. If they could disable it, the fleet would fall into disarray, giving the galaxy a chance to regroup. Their plan was simple in concept but dangerous in execution. The shuttle would infiltrate the perimeter, drop a small strike team onto the hub, and disable the control core. Lyra would guide them, using her knowledge of alien technology to bypass security systems. Ethan would lead the human soldiers, coordinating the assault and keeping everyone alive. The approach was tense. Sensors picked up multiple patrol drones, their movements calculated and unyielding. Lyra's hands moved over the console, analyzing the patrol patterns and predicting openings. "Wait for the next cycle," she murmured. "The gap will be short but enough to slip through." Ethan listened, his eyes narrowing as he processed the information. "Good. Prepare to move on my signal." The moment came. The shuttle surged forward, slipping through the narrow gap between drones. The tension inside the cabin was palpable. Soldiers gripped their weapons, ready for combat, while Lyra's eyes scanned every angle, every flicker of motion. A sudden alarm blared. A hidden patrol drone had detected them. Lyra acted instantly, directing the pilot to weave through a corridor of asteroid debris. The ship rattled violently as energy blasts struck the hull, but they emerged unscathed, and the patrol drone was destroyed by a precise volley from the shuttle's weapon systems. They had made it inside the perimeter. The strike team prepared for deployment. Lyra and Ethan led the group down to the central hub, moving cautiously through narrow corridors and maintenance tunnels. The air was thick with energy, the hum of the AI fleet systems vibrating through the walls. Every step was measured, every sound analyzed. Then they encountered the first real obstacle inside the hub, an automated defense grid. Laser turrets and motion sensors covered the hallways, programmed to eliminate intruders instantly. Lyra studied the grid, her mind racing. She traced the circuitry, identified patterns, and found a window of opportunity. "Move on my mark," she whispered. 3, 2, 1, now." The team moved in unison, dodging beams, ducking behind walls, and following Lyra's precise instructions. Ethan's voice called out commands, guiding the soldiers and keeping them coordinated. Together, human and alien worked seamlessly, their skills complementing each other in a way that felt almost instinctive. For a moment, Lyra allowed herself a small smile. She had grown strong, capable, and confident. She had survived countless trials, but nothing compared to this, working side by side with the human who had once saved her, now relying on her knowledge and guidance. As they neared the control core, the hub began to react. Defense systems intensified, emergency lights flashing red. The AI had detected their presence and was adapting to their movements. Lyra's pulse quickened, but she remained focused. Ethan led the charge, his weapon steady as he fired with precision. The soldiers followed his lead, suppressing automated defenses and clearing the path. Lyra's holographic interface guided them, mapping out energy flows and predicting where the next attack would come from. Finally, they reached the central chamber. The control core hovered in the center, a massive crystalline structure pulsing with energy. Lyra's eyes widened. This was more powerful than she had imagined. It seemed alive, radiating intelligence and menace. "We need to shut it down carefully," Lyra said. "If we overload it, the entire hub could explode." Ethan nodded, assessing the structure. "Understood, you guide us. We follow your lead." Lyra moved to the core, analyzing its interface. Her fingers hovered over the control panels, her mind racing to decipher the alien systems. She bypassed firewalls and security protocols, each step precise and calculated. Ethan and the soldiers formed a protective circle around her, fending off automated defenses that emerged from hidden compartments. Time seemed to stretch. Every second felt like an eternity. Lyra's heart pounded, her mind focused entirely on the task. And then a sudden surge of energy pulsed through the core, threatening to overwhelm the systems. "Hold steady," Lyra shouted. "Just a little more, almost there." With one final sequence, the core's energy dimmed, and the pulsing light slowed until it finally went dark. The AI fleet systems faltered, drones slowing, ships losing cohesion. The hub had been disabled. A cheer erupted from the strike team, and Lyra felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had done it. Together, humans and aliens had overcome a threat that had seemed unstoppable. Ethan turned to her, eyes scanning her face. For a brief moment, there was something unspoken between them, a sense of familiarity he could not place. "Good work," he said again, his voice steady but warm. "We couldn't have done it without you." Lyra smiled faintly, her secret still safe but her heart full. She had proven herself, contributed to the mission, and kept her promise to the man who had once saved her. As they made their way back to the shuttle, the AI fleet in disarray, Lyra felt a mix of triumph and anticipation. The mission was not yet over. They still had to return safely, navigate the remnants of the fleet, and face whatever dangers awaited them on the next planet. But for now, she allowed herself a moment to savor the victory, to remember the journey that had brought her here, and to feel the stirring hope that the reunion she had long dreamed of was closer than ever. The shuttle lifted off from the hub, moving through the scattered remnants of the AI fleet. Lyra watched the stars streak past the viewport, her mind already planning the next steps. She knew that the real challenge would come when she revealed herself to Ethan, when the past and present converged fully. But for now, she allowed herself a quiet satisfaction. They had faced the impossible, survived, and proven that humans and aliens working together could overcome even the deadliest of threats. And somewhere deep inside, she knew that the moment of reunion, when it came, would be nothing short of extraordinary. The journey back through space was tense but controlled. Ethan and the soldiers monitored the shuttle's path, responding to minor skirmishes with automated drones. Lyra provided constant guidance, predicting movements, suggesting maneuvers, and analyzing energy readings. Her presence was crucial, and the humans recognized it, even if they did not yet understand the full depth of her connection to their commander. As they passed the edge of the AI fleet's influence, Lyra allowed herself a final glance at Ethan. He remained focused, unaware of her identity, yet somehow familiar, a bridge between the life she had lost and the life she had built. She knew that soon, very soon, the truth would be revealed and everything would change. For now, they had survived part 2 of the journey. But Lyra knew the greatest challenges were still ahead. The reunion she had longed for, the danger that lurked beyond the stars, and the opportunity to finally show the human who had saved her the remarkable adult she had become. The shuttle glided through the empty void, leaving. Behind the fragmented AI fleet, silence settled over the cabin, broken only by the hum of engines and the occasional beep of monitoring systems. Lyra sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap, eyes fixed on the stars stretching endlessly beyond the viewport. Each flicker of light reminded her of the vast distances she had traveled, the battles she had fought, and the man she had come so far to find. Ethan remained focused on piloting, checking instruments and communicating with the soldiers stationed around the cabin. The events at the AI hub had tested them all, but he moved with calm efficiency, as if danger were simply another part of his life. Lyra watched him, feeling a mixture of admiration and anticipation. She had waited years for this moment, and now it was so close she could almost reach out and touch it. The mission was not over. They still had to return to human-controlled space, navigate through the remnants of the AI fleet, and deliver intelligence critical to the galaxy's defense. But the immediate threat had been neutralized, and the relief that filled the shuttle was tangible. Soldiers exchanged quiet conversations, their fatigue hidden beneath professional composure, yet the spark of victory was evident in their eyes. Lyra took a deep breath. The moment had come. She could no longer remain in the shadows. She had to reveal herself. Steeling her nerves, she moved toward Ethan, careful to avoid drawing unnecessary attention from the other crew members. "Captain Drake," she said softly, her voice steady but carrying a note of urgency. Ethan looked up, his dark eyes meeting hers. "There's something I need to tell you." Ethan tilted his head slightly, curiosity flickering across his features. "Go ahead," he said. His voice was calm, yet patient, as if he sensed the importance of what was to come. Lyra's fingers trembled slightly as she reached into her uniform and removed a small, weathered pendant. The metal glinted faintly under the cabin lights. She held it out to him. "You gave this to me years ago," she said, her voice soft. "You saved me. I'm Lyra, the girl you rescued on Kelara." For a moment, silence filled the shuttle. Ethan's eyes widened in shock, then recognition dawned. His jaw tightened and he reached out, his hand steadying the pendant in his own. "Lyra," he breathed, his voice barely above a whisper. I can't believe it. You're alive. You made it." Lyra nodded, a mixture of relief and joy flooding through her. "I've trained, I've grown, and I've learned, all because of what you did. I never forgot you, Captain, not once." Ethan's eyes softened, and he lowered himself into the seat beside her. "I've thought about you every day since that day," he admitted. "I never knew if you survived. I hoped, but I never knew." For the first time since they had met, Lyra allowed herself to feel safe. The man who had saved her so long ago was here, alive, and now they were on the same side, fighting together once more. It was a moment of profound connection, a bridge between past and present, forged through courage, resilience, and trust. The shuttle continued its journey through the void, but the tension had shifted. What had been anticipation and fear now carried a sense of partnership, of shared purpose. Lyra and Ethan spoke quietly, sharing memories of that day, of the battles fought and the lessons learned. They laughed softly at small recollections, the weight of years and conflict easing slightly under the warmth of their reunion. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert. Sensors indicated an unknown vessel approaching rapidly. Lyra's pulse quickened, not from fear but from instinct. She and Ethan had faced countless dangers together, and she trusted his ability to handle the unexpected. Ethan stood, moving to the control panel with practiced ease. "Unknown vessel," he reported, "closing in fast." "Shields up, weapons ready." The vessel emerged from the darkness, a sleek ship glinting under the starlight. Lyra studied it carefully. It was not part of the AI fleet. Its markings indicated a private faction, a group of mercenaries known to operate near the sector's borders. They were unpredictable, dangerous, but not invincible. "Stay calm," Lyra advised, her mind analyzing every possibility. "We can outmaneuver them. Watch their approach patterns. They're aggressive but predictable." Ethan nodded, following her guidance. The shuttle danced through the void, weaving between asteroids and debris, avoiding direct fire while keeping the mercenaries at bay. Lyra coordinated with the soldiers, predicting the attackers' maneuvers and suggesting counterattacks. Their teamwork was flawless, a seamless blend of human skill and alien intuition. Finally, a precise volley from the shuttle's weapons disabled the mercenary vessel's engines. It drifted silently, powerless, as the shuttle moved past unscathed. Ethan glanced at Lyra, a mixture of respect and awe in his expression. "You've saved us again," he said, the faintest smile on his lips. Lyra shook her head slightly. "We saved each other," she replied. The words felt right, not just as a statement of fact, but as a recognition of their bond, forged years ago and strengthened through shared experience. As the shuttle neared human-controlled space, Lyra's thoughts turned to the people waiting on the planets below. Their victory against the AI fleet had not only saved countless lives, but it had also cemented a sense of trust between humans and alien species. The mission's success would resonate across the galaxy, a testament to cooperation, courage, and ingenuity. Landing on the planetary station was smooth, a welcome contrast to the chaos they had faced in space. Soldiers and officials greeted the shuttle, relief evident in their expressions. Ethan and Lyra disembarked together, their presence commanding attention. Though the mission was complete, their story had only just begun. Officers approached them, offering congratulations and debriefing. Lyra provided detailed analysis of the AI fleet's structure, her knowledge invaluable to the coalition. Ethan stood beside her, listening, acknowledging her input and giving her full credit. There was no hesitation, no doubt. Her contributions had been essential, and everyone present recognized it. After the formalities, Lyra and Ethan found a quiet observation deck overlooking the city. Twin moons reflected on the water below, casting a serene glow across the landscape. Lyra turned to Ethan, her expression earnest. "Years ago you showed me what courage and kindness looked like," she said. "I've spent my life trying to live up to that example, and now I wanted you to know that." Ethan looked at her, his eyes soft but intense. "You've exceeded it," he said. "I never could have imagined the person you would become. Strong, capable, brave, you've made me proud, Lyra." A silence fell between them, comfortable and profound. The distance of years, the trials of survival, and the chaos of space battles melted away in that moment. They were no longer just the soldier and the rescued child. They were equals, partners, friends, and witnesses to each other's journey. "Do you ever think about the past?" Lyra asked quietly. "All the time," Ethan admitted. "But now I also think about the future. About what we can do together, about the difference humans and aliens can make if we trust each other." Lyra smiled, hope shining in her eyes. "I want to see that future too. I want to work with you, not just in battle, but to protect, to build, to ensure that what happened to my people doesn't happen to anyone else." Ethan nodded, determination settling over his features. "Then we'll do it, together." They stood in silence for a moment, the weight of their shared understanding pressing upon them. Lyra felt a sense of closure, a bridge between the child she had been and the adult she had become. Ethan felt a quiet relief, knowing that the life he had once saved had grown into someone extraordinary, someone capable of shaping the future of the galaxy. The days that followed were filled with debriefings, celebrations, and planning sessions. Lyra and Ethan worked side by side, strategizing for future missions, preparing defenses, and strengthening alliances between human and alien factions. Their bond became known among the coalition as a symbol of trust, courage, and unity. One evening, as the sun set over the city, Lyra and Ethan stood together on the observation deck once more. The air was calm, the lights of the city twinkling below like stars mirrored on the ground. Lyra glanced at Ethan, a faint smile on her lips. "Do you remember Kalara?" she asked. Ethan's expression softened. "Every detail," he said, "every moment, every choice, and I remember the promise I made to help you, to protect you." "You kept that promise," Lyra said. "And now I promise you this. I will always stand with you no matter what comes next. Humans, aliens, together." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder, firm and reassuring. "Then we move forward together. Whatever the galaxy throws at us, we'll face it as one." The twin moons rose higher in the sky, bathing the observation deck in silver light. Lyra and Ethan watched, side by side, not as rescuer and rescued, but as equals, allies, and friends bound by courage, trust, and an unbreakable bond. For the first time in years, Lyra felt complete. The galaxy was vast, full of danger and uncertainty, but she was no longer afraid. She had found him, They had survived. And together they would face whatever challenges awaited them, their spirits united, their hearts steadfast, and their courage undeniable. In the quiet of the night, with stars stretching endlessly above, the two of them stood in the knowledge that humanity, and the bonds it inspired, could shine brightly even in the darkest corners of the universe. And that light, unyielding and unwavering, would guide them through every battle, every challenge, and every moment yet to come. They had reunited. They had survived. And the galaxy would never forget the courage of a human soldier and the alien girl he had once saved.